Hello everyone, welcome back to Wildcard. Now, today's video is going to be a little bit of a different ramble thematically, as opposed to talking about a specific thing or things. I'm gonna really jump between a few features of a particular struggle of mine, and really try and communicate as best as I can exactly what I mean, because the topic of today's video is a little bit fraught with confusion. It's very hard for me to explain, let alone define, and so I'm really going to try and keep it as simple as I can, but that will require jumping between a lot of things. And if I'm going to start off, I'm really going to have to talk you through a little situation in mine earlier. I was playing Kingdom Come Deliverance. If any of you are familiar with the game, it's an attempt at a real life medieval simulation where you play as the son of a blacksmith who is essentially thrust into the world of knighthood. And it's very good, but when I was playing, I made a very silly mistake, and it cost me an hour of game progress for a reason I won't get into. I was soft locked out of my progress. But during that time, during the recovery time for losing that progress, I was listening to Spotify, and for once I just put it on DJ, just let things play, whatever. And I believe it was Last Goodbye by Jeff Buckley played, and that song took me back to, not like I hadn't listened to it in ages, it had been a couple of days, but it took me back to the latest season of Sex Education, I think, or the season before that, probably the season before that, and that got me to thinking about just like, I don't even know how exactly to explain it. It's like all the desires I have to create things and not being able to achieve them. It's like, I don't know, like that show, I'm not trying to claim that was like a standout, the most well-handed TV show of all time, but for some reason just the idea that I had, the thought that trailed into that idea, reminded me of all those things that I haven't been able to achieve creatively, which I've talked about in another video. But in particular, this kind of, I don't know, all the mediums I'll never be able to cross, maybe like music and games or television. My creative abilities are really, I guess, compromised, by my lack of resources and knowledge on things. If I had the hardware and the know-how to make a Feast of Fathom-like game where, PSX graphics, I would make a game. I write many stories, most of which I never finish, but if I could just take those ideas, those stories, those narratives, and translate them to a different medium, they would be complete enough to present, and I would love that. As it stands, I tend to write scripts for a lot of Night Owl 102.8 FM videos, and I put them out if I feel confident in them, or I'll have ideas for titles that will then spring into poems as opposed to anything else. Like before, I just had a thought of, I think the words that came to me were, "In the vein of life, I found great strife," which sounds more like a poem than anything else, but that sprung into a 5-line free-verse shitstorm, and I really just think I got to thinking about all the things that I'll never be able to do, as opposed to things that I have and will continue to improve upon, because that's life, you're always trying to find the things that you don't have, the soul is greedy, as it is, it's just naturally so, but I was really upset about that, and then I got to thinking about how I'm just so unsure about myself and my identity, my my being, I guess. My style, clothes-wise, that's always been a struggle of mine. I'm still going with that. There's a million reasons I could rant on about here that, as to why that is, but they would just come off as pathetic and petty, and it's not exactly something that I'm comfortable with getting into on a YouTube video, as much as I've talked about this being a kind of journal space for me. We're here by candlelight, but I was just listening to Ritual by Ghost, mainstay of Ghost, one of the classics. I was reflecting on how good of a transition it is between Ritual and Elizabeth on the Opus Eponymous track list. It just kind of flows so well. It's almost stupendously good. It just kind of works. It's like a river, kind of just from one end to another, and there's no real interruptions. Unlike my content slew, where I've really had a bunch of things that I meant to post and I just haven't. I had to smart switch to a different phone recently, and as a result, one of those videos is missing. I have made 2 since and haven't posted them, so I've made 3 since and haven't posted them, editing and all. But I kind of like that idea of consistency, and I think that kind of feeds into that creative desire to be more, to do more, to achieve more. But it feels like nowadays I'm achieving less, doing less, becoming less than I ever believed I would. And it's kind of a knife in the heart to progress, but it's kind of out of my control. Things just happen as they do. But I think that really got me to thinking about, earlier I was just singing to a couple Hamilton songs and thinking about 2023 when I was writing an essay, drinking Baron Samedi and Cokes, and just writing a whole essay while I was watching Hamilton for the first time, the film version. I'll be honest, that was a good time. Just kind of shocks me. 2023, like, how things have changed. Like, I wish I could go back to my first year of university where, you know, I didn't feel horrible about myself for seemingly zero reason, where therapy hadn't failed a million times, where my shoes were still white, where my skin didn't feel like shit, look like shit, where I didn't feel like I was constantly trying to be something that I could never, and I didn't feel like there was zero hope in the horizon, because things felt a little bit brighter, a little bit more consistent, and I was younger, even if 3 and a bit years, 3 years, it's a significant amount of time, because I look back on photos that I see every now and again from 2023, and I look completely different, just in the face alone. Just like my face is kind of molded into something different in that time, which is, you know, time's consequence. That's what shit does. That's how temporality works. But I suppose I'm always stuck between a place of longing and loathing what I could never have, and loathing what I did, because rather than be caught up on the fact that it's gone, I just choose to hate the fact that I don't have it. So not loathing as much as envying, but still hating to a degree the fact that I've become what I have, when I haven't really made those many missteps in life. It just feels like I have. I'm always scrolling through the PlayStation store looking for something to grab me and be like, I've been missing this game my whole life. Or find a TV show or a movie. I've been missing this my whole life. Severance has gripped me recently, but Severance doesn't seem to be enough to convince me that I can just keep it calm and stay here for a while, ground myself. I'm always searching for something else. And I guess that's the overall vibe of this video. It's just that I'm always thinking, I'm always trying to be, I'm always trying to do, but I can never just slow down and just exist, fucking live. It's so difficult. It's going to be the biggest learning curve of my life. I think it's going to take me decades, a long time to finally just love, live, let live, breathe. Breathing exercises kill me. Meditation kills me. Life fucking kills me. So, where do you learn to just do it for the sake of it? That's really the moral of the story here. Where along the path do I just say, fuck it? Where along the path do I just drop the shit and say, I'll make do with what I fucking have? I don't know. I'll shoot that one to you guys. Where do you think? How long ago was that impasse that I just missed? Because the turn off feels like it was a while ago. Yeah, that's the thoughts for today. Thanks for sticking around. Hopefully you share a thought or two here, and yeah, I'll catch you next time. Cheers.